Hey, real fast, I'm going to do my UFC 89 predictions. And this card's going to be free on Spike this Saturday, which is nice. It's a nice extra. Pulling up the card now. I'm not going to count a bunch of these undercard matches because I really don't even know the fighters in them. You know, enough to speculate on who's going to win or not. You know, I just got records to go with. So anyway, let's go with, I think the main card says it has 6 fights on it, so let's go there. Marcus Davis versus Paul Kelly. That's a real exciting fight. I think that's going to be a good stand-up battle. So I'm going to go with, I think everyone else is going with Marcus Davis here. I'm going to go with him too because I just like his experience better. But Paul Kelly has got some good wrestling. He's got some, I've never seen a fight where Marcus Davis actually has like maybe a reach advantage. And I think he might have one here because Paul Kelly has really short arms. So, I mean, that's something to look out for, and Marcus is known for his boxing. So, yeah, I think he'll win this one. But I wouldn't be surprised either way. It's going to be a good match, I think. Then we got Shane Carwin versus Neil Wayne. Shane Carwin is that big built guy. He's like, what, 6'3", 6'4". Just huge muscles for that size. Guy's supposed to has a lot of hype around him, and I have no reason to doubt it yet, so I'm going to go with Shane here. I don't know anything about Neil Wayne. We got Chris Lytle versus Paul Taylor. That's going to be an explosive fight. It's almost like you don't even care who the winner is. You just want to see that fight, and I want to see that fight. And I think pretty much everyone else is going with, I'm going to go with Chris Lytle too here, because he's such an underranked fighter. I mean, he's a good fighter. He always brings his best. But he seems he can't get over like a good wrestler or something, which has always held him down in that division, which is 170 is just packed with wrestlers. So he's kind of stuck there. But he's got good jiu-jitsu. He's got great stand-up. He's scrappy as hell. I just wish the best for Lytle. And this is going to be a good match for him because Paul Taylor, he isn't going to really make him, you know, fight a wrestling match. Paul Taylor is a striker too, so I'm expecting fireworks from these two guys. And let me just say about this card, while it doesn't have the biggest names, a lot of these guys want to bang, and a lot of times that's what people want to see, especially with this crowd in England. I think that's the right route to go. You know, if you know wrestling's kind of bigger here than it is anywhere else, so it's better to promote the bangers. And next we got Lewis Kang versus Sokoju. This is a hard one. I'm not sure. Sokoju was just hype, and it's just been lucky. Those 2 big wins. Was it Arona and Little Nog? He hasn't fared that well afterwards. He hasn't looked that impressive. But I'm gonna go with Lewis Kane. He seems like a good fighter to me. I like him a lot. He's scrappy as hell. And he's cocky as hell too, and I think he'll take this. Next fight's Keith Jardine versus Brandon Vera. Now the thing with Keith Jardine, he's kind of an enigma here, where no one ever takes him down because they look at his stand-up and they think, wow, that stand-up is crap. You know, they underestimate his leg kicks or something. Because every time a guy fights him, the only person I've ever seen him take him down, Rashad Evans. And guess what? He won. Now, not to say he can't be beat standing up. He's been beat by Vanderlei and Houston Alexander. But he's also won standing up. He beat Liddell and Griffin. So, I mean, it's kind of like a wild card where you could just take Jardine down and I'd test him on the ground before I'd test him, you know, to wear me out on the decision. That being said, Brandon Vera, he's coming off a really groggy performance versus Reese Andy. Really delayed, bad cut. That first cut must have been brutal because he was sluggish as hell out there. He looked like he just won a hot dog eating competition beforehand because he was just gassed and all over the place, just hanging on for dear life, but winning. I think his cut will be better this time. And I do think Brandon Vera has the talent to win, and I'm going to go with him to win. But I wouldn't be surprised if Keith Jardine surprised everyone. Well, not too surprised. It's more just outlasted Vera and got the decision. The thing with Jardine is I always think of him. I think of him as the ultimate kind of kickboxer, and I think of Brandon Vera as a big Muay Thai guy. So that's a good clash of styles right there. The kickboxer versus the Muay Thai fighter. So I'm looking forward to that one. That's another good fight. These are all good fights, and hopefully, they all bring the excitement. And I think they will. Then we got the main event. I guess, what do you call it, main event? Headliner, whatever. Michael Bisping versus Chris Leben. And it's funny, I used to like Bisping. On the Ultimate Fighter 3, I liked him a lot. I actually was on his side through that whole Matt Hamill and versus Bisping thing. They never actually fought on the show, but they always, kind of had these intense training sessions with each other because Tito got them both. And that's a miracle in itself. He had two of the best fighters on the show. It just shows how stupid Ken Shamrock was in those picks. But anyway, Bisping, I lost a lot of respect when he got really egotistical after that Hamill win, and that was a loss, buddy. I actually did I did a forum post on the prediction site, MMA Playground, talking about how close that fight was, and I just went down to do the hits and everything, and actually it had Hamill up by at least 2 rounds. I even argued he won the 3rd round in that fight. But anyway, that's the past. Then he lost to Evans, and then he thought he won that match too. He's trying to raise his hand. And then he moved down to 185. And then you got Chris Leben, who's kind of retooled himself. I remember I was watching that Terry Martin fight. I almost said fart. Terry Martin fight, and I was thinking to myself, gosh, that guy, he's not the same Chris Leben, because the first Chris Leben, Chris Leben 0.0 would just go out there and bang like crazy and do himself in against Terry Martin. But he won that match because he's willing to stay in it for so long, picking his shots and waiting. And of course he went to old Chris Leben in the end when he got hit in the nose and he went crazy, with that barrage of punches. But before then, he was doing good. He's doing more technical stuff. And I do love Chris Leben's power. And even though he got knocked out by Anderson Silva, who hasn't, and really, he's probably one of the best chins you'll see at 185. And that's why I'm going to pick Chris Leben. I think a lot of other people are picking him too, because this could be a downfall for UFC if they're building another Ultimate Fighter on banking that Bisping is going to win this and become a coach for the next season. Because that could be a big downfall, because I think Leben's going to win. Good fights, good card. Not great, but good. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are too. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.